Hey there, welcome to the Eurostep, a Milwaukee Bucks podcast, probably a part of the Blue Wire Podcast Network and GSPN, and presented by our pals at Prize Picks, where you can use code Eurostep to get $50 when you play $5 for the first time, win or lose. I am Ty Windisch, one of your hosts, joined as always by the excellent Rohan Katti. The recovered Rohan Katti was doing the podcast flu game for the last week, but you're looking spry, Rohan. You're looking good.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I feel so much better. I feel recovered. I feel refreshed, and it feels good to watch Bucks wins. It sure does,
Yeah.
especially against a decent team.
I'll say a good team. I'd say a very good team. I wouldn't say a great team, but I would say a very good Denver Nuggets team.
Yeah,
Third in the West. Pretty good conference.
it's a muddled conference, but yeah, it's still.
Yeah. The Bucks did beat the Nuggets, so we don't always do this, but this felt like a bigger game, and we just wanted to really talk about this game. We have some news that we'll talk about later, specifically involving the Bucks' two-way slots that we'll get into. But first, the game itself. Bucks win 121-112. Very close to my score prediction on our live Bleacher Report stream every Thursday at 4. One or both of us is on BR talking Bucks. Make sure to check that out as well. But Giannis, I said leads the way on the cron. Oh, I didn't update the background. Oh, no. I'm going to update it live. Oh, no. This is a disaster.
Oh no, what is it right now?
Production quote, previewing Bucks Nuggets.
Oh no.
There we go. Giannis leads, balanced Bucks win over Nuggets. Pete Nance signed a two-way. We're updated now. Sorry, folks. The thumbnail will be right. Just bear with us. Giannis, I would not say led the way the whole game. I actually thought Denver did a pretty good job of just being physical and defending him, but still ends up leading the team 28 points, a season-high 19 boards, and led the way with assists. He actually led the team in points, rebounds, and assists. Damn, Giannis. And a block. On the way to a productive 32.5-minute night. But should we start there? We don't start with Giannis enough, right?
Let's start with Giannis.
Yeah.
So he's pretty good, right? That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I do agree with you. I think Denver did a good job just trying to be physical, but also Giannis, like both sides, I'm not even going to say he was unfairly against one, was just not getting the calls that he wanted. Even though he did end up getting 4 trips to the free throw line, it kind of felt like he wanted more. But again, it happened on both sides, so I can't even be upset about like the Bucks. The Nuggets were also getting screwed out of calls.
The Nuggets took 11 free throws in the game, and there was a lot of rim attempts for both games. The Bucks took 28, so they certainly got there more. I would argue they deserved to have more, but that's a pretty wide margin.
It is a wide margin. Both teams deserved more, I'll say that.
Yeah.
But Giannis, seemingly a little frustrated getting to the rim, whether it be Aaron Gordon playing some physical defense, whether it be just people getting in the way of him at the rim, his passes getting tipped out and stuff like that. It was a little bit of a frustrating game for Giannis at times until the second half where he just took over. He just dominated. This was a game where I was just screaming, saying, "Hey, can we get Giannis some help, please?"
Yeah.
I'm looking at you, Dame. But at the end of the day, the Bucks did enough to be able to dominate this game and get the win. But it starts and ends with Giannis. It is, as it always does. His jumper was looking clean. He even hit a 3. He's
back on the 3-point shooting trend lately.
He's trying to make 10 in a season. He's doing his best.
Is this 8 or 9?
I think that was 8.
I can pull this up.
So he's got around 20-something games to make 2. I hope you can do that, yeah.
How do you feel about him taking threes again? Because I don't know if I love it, to be honest with you.
I don't love it. I really don't. But I also think it was at a point in the Denver game where he was just exhausted.
But they were earlier. It feels like he's using them as kind of a go-to right now.
Yeah, his second one was more of an exhaustive one. His first one was not.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't love it. But also, I'm like, sure. As long as you're not taking 5 a game. If it's like 1 or 2. Like, Giannis has earned the ability to take 1 or 2 possessions, just punt them. Like, it's fine. There's enough possessions in a game. If it starts to get more than 2 a game, then I'll be like, okay, let's tune it down a little bit. But it's like, it's not at a point yet where it's really starting to bother me. I'm still at a point where it's like, yeah, it's okay. You can burn a few possessions.
Yeah, but, I mean, especially because the mid-range is working for him. I guess if he wants to tinker with extending it further, why not? It's not like he only takes really short mid-rangers.
I don't think anything makes sense in regards to Giannis shooting the ball. So what you're saying makes sense where it says like, oh, he's shooting very well from mid-range. He's a top 10 mid-range scorer this season. It would make sense to help extend his range a little bit. Nope, that doesn't work with Giannis. Giannis's brain, whenever he shoots the ball, turns into that Garfield meme of it's just like him just dancing. That's what goes on in Giannis's head. Nothing. Like you're trying to logic this out, and I appreciate you for it. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's fair. Also, the free throws are the glaring exception to all of this. So, you're right. Let's not try and over-logic Giannis's game.
Giannis is a top 10 mid-range shooter this season, but can't make a free throw.
Yeah, very odd. That actually makes no sense.
Nothing makes sense.
No. I thought Giannis didn't have a great defensive game, but if you compare it to three-time MVP Nikola Jokic, he had a tremendous defensive game.
He had one of the greatest defensive performances of all time in comparison.
Joker just like
he stopped playing.
Yeah,
he
just
stopped
like
playing.
Just pretty bad clips, dude.
I know
pretty bad clips.
I know you and I have both said we're done with the MVP talk. Like I don't care anymore. I think it should be Shea. That's what I think, and I think he's probably going to win it. We'll see.
I think so too.
It's kind of abysmal that we've the NBA as a whole. That's the word I'm trying to say.
NBA at large.
Yeah, at large as a whole. Thank you. Has just come to a conclusion, accepted as fact that Jokic is better than Giannis. Like, I think Jokic has outplayed Giannis, like, for a couple of years, but I don't think the gap is, like, monstrous. I don't think there is, a massive gap between Giannis and Jokic in terms of who's the better player overall. Like, you just games. If you're letting Taurean Prince get a dunk at the rim, something's wrong. Something's very wrong with you. Like, if Michael Porter Jr. is motioning at you saying, hey, what were you doing on defense? Michael Porter Jr., if you're worried about Kyle Kuzma and his mental state, look at Michael Porter Jr. And if he is trying to point out a team defensive rotation to you, you've done something catastrophically wrong.
The one nice thing about that is at least we know MPJ is not going to take a jab at Jokic or just generally. So at least there's that. A Dan Devine at Yahoo wrote before the game, like, I think Giannis could kind of show people that, hey, don't forget about me in this conversation, to your point, and then kind of took a victory lap on it, which was sick. So just to say, it's not no one, but the vast majority, to your point, has kind of written Giannis out of that conversation, which sucks. I think MVP is over because of the Bucks' whole deal this year more than anything, but I certainly think Giannis is on, just wave hands, all of it. I think Giannis is on that level and showed it. That said, Joker had 32 on 13 of 16 from the field with 14 rebounds and 10 assists, and this was a shitty game for him.
We're not trying to denigrate Jokic in any way. He's an elite.
Well, on defense we are.
Yes,
because he just doesn't do anything.
He is he's an elite offensive player.
Let's just stop lying. I don't care what you know what I've become. I've totally flipped. I am that boy nice NBA watcher now. I don't care what the rap him or the pip him or the whatever else says.
The defensive box plus minus, which by the way takes his assists into account when putting his defense.
The thing is, all these stats, they're like, oh, you shouldn't use single game plus minus, or you shouldn't use points per game. Like, it's all of those things just pull from the basic stats in different ways with like different formulas put on them. It all comes at the end of the day to either your on-off splits for a lot of these, like defensive numbers especially, the impact stats, quote unquote, which we all know Denver plays Jokic only basically with all starters, so the on-off swings are always tremendous for him. Or they come down to like there's some sort of PER variant where it's all based on, usually per 36 or 48 or 100 possessions or whatever, your statistical output. So I think a lot of it is malarkey. That said, I think Jokic is awesome, but I think trying to say like, oh, he's got his defensive box plus watch the games. He's terrible. He doesn't try. If you post him up, he's good. I would hope so. He's a man mountain. If he wasn't, we'd have a really big problem. And honestly, he wasn't good. I mean, Brook was posting him up and going through him.
Brook dunked on it. Brook driving
posted him.
It's like one of the slowest of foot players in the NBA currently.
Maybe number one at this point. I can't think of something. I mean, Joker? I don't know. They were giving each other a rent for their money. Oh, God. Yeah, that's right.
I think it might be Alex Len.
Alex Len turning down a team, signing him to go to another team mid-season is so funny in retrospect now.
I love that it was the Pacers
sweepstakes. They always do that now. The Alex Len sweepstakes had a dramatic turn. That's hysterical. He's probably going to get cut.
Imagine being the Pacers and thinking, okay, I guess we'll sign Alex Len. And then it's like you have this agreement. And then Alex Len calls you up. He's like, actually, no, I'm not. It's like, what?
If I'm Kevin Pritchard, I'm looking at the bottom of a big glass of whiskey that night. Just like, what's gone wrong in my life that Alex Len is... My safety option said no. Like, that's a bad feeling.
Yeah, it's tough. It couldn't happen to a worse team.
Yeah.
But no, like the Jokic defensive stuff was on full display in this game. As we talked about on our PR stream, this team, like the Denver Nuggets, need to be targeted on the interior, and they tried their best to be able to do it. I don't think the Bucks fully maximized their ability to try and do that in this game, but they best. One person who really did that, Kyle Kuzma.
Yeah,
Kyle Kuzma, who once he realized that KPJ just doesn't have it, and we might have pricked into some good games. It was okay. In these bench units, I need to be able to go to the rim, and 57-year-old DeAndre Jordan is not doing anything about it.
Dude, the Nuggets rotation's hysterical.
It's so funny. It's so funny. But Kyle Kuzma was able to just get to the rim at ease, blow by like the poor depth of the Nuggets, and just really get whatever he wanted on the inside, which I thought was really good, especially on a night where Giannis was trying to do that and not getting the calls he necessarily wanted. Kyle Kuzma was attacking the bench units and doing it really well.
Yeah, I think overall, I'm glad you mentioned Kuzma because I've been thinking about him a lot. I think there's going to be more offensive upside for
pink
Kuz.
Sweaters. I think I'm gonna start rocking pink sweaters in honor of Kuz.
You should. I mean, if I could find one with those sleeves, I would. But I think there's more offensive meat on the bone there. Like, I think he can be better. And I'm not one of these people who's like, he says he only shoots poorly because he's not going to be a 40% three-point shooter, I think, at any point. I think we're past that. But his efficiency, even from two, hasn't been great. And I just think there's room for him once the Bucks really get going and optimize their lineups and fully learn how to play together with this core. I think he can be more of a demon getting to the rim and finishing there. Like, I just think there's going to be a lot for him to do there. And I think that because he is on both sides really still, and, it was like the first game we joked, like, it's like meeting your girlfriend's parents. Like, he's like setting screens. He wouldn't even shoot. But he's still pretty much playing like that, especially defensively, but offensively too. He's being very, I think, thoughtful about where he picks his spots. He's not like, all right, I'm going to take 3 straight jumpers with Giannis and Dame out there. He's trying to play finish when he's with the starters. And then when he plays without them, to your point, he's been kind of a crucial battering ram in those minutes. And I think he did kind of intervene as we saw a second straight KPJ egg and say, like, nah, give this to me. Like, I'm the guy they traded Chris for. You're the guy they traded Marjon Beauchamp for. Let's not forget that after you had a nice week of games, Kevin. Scoot. And again, Kyle Kuzma was 5 of 15. It wasn't like he had an amazing game by any means. He was 4 of 10 from 2. So that's where I think, again, 1 for 5 from 3. He's going to have those games. I think we can see a more efficient Kuz from 2. But he also got to the free throw line 6 times, continues to have consistent rim pressure and draw those free throws, and had 9 rebounds, 5 assists, and 2 blocks. And all this to say, like, I think the offense is imperfect and it comes and goes a lot. Defensively, he's really moved me. I'm very impressed with the way he's played. I mean, he had possessions where he guarded Jokic and Jamal Murray in the same possession, and it worked for Milwaukee. Like, he is kind of giving me some, like, oh, he's really locked into being a 16-game kind of player at this point. That's exciting to me.
Is he finally the PJ replacement?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
In terms of like his defensive versatility, he's not as good on defense as PJ. Like, I'm not trying to say that at all, but in being able to go from guarding smalls to bigs seamlessly.
I don't know if he's worse than Bucks PJ defensively.
I think he is.
I don't know.
Bucks PJ was very good.
He was, but
he's a way better offensive player. Don't give me
no, for sure. I think Bucks PJ, honestly though, was more of an innings eater defensively. Like we talked about it, like he wasn't stopping Kevin Durant. It wasn't like Tony Allen, but he was like making him work. I don't think it's like a dog walk either way. I think it's relatively close, is what I'll say.
That's fair.
I still don't know how PJ guarded Devin Booker. I think about that series, and I'm just like, how did he keep up with him? I don't know still.
I don't know how, like, that was a weird series, like, postseason run, because you had, like, Chris Middleton, like, flying around with Duncan Robinson, and somehow it works. Yeah. You have PJ Tucker flying around with Devin Booker, and how it works. It's like, I don't know how that happens.
No. A lot didn't make sense, but I'm glad it worked out the way it did. But yeah, it's hard not to be excited about Kuzma just because it hurts to. He clearly does not have the offensive upside Chris Middleton does, and the Bucks have felt that at times, even on this good 4-1 stretch. But I don't think they have any choice but to say we just need Dame and Giannis to do even more and let everything else be by committee. And they needed this Kuzma piece because they didn't have it, and none of the guys they brought in, KPJ or Sims or whatever. None of them could do this stuff defensively. Like Sims can switch out to guards, but he offensively, he's just, there's no bag whatsoever. He is what people thought Giannis was in 2017, except worse, obviously. And you're not going to start him. You know what I mean? Like he's not that. So it's really important they got what they got. It's an imperfect fit, but I think they do have enough pieces to put together a team that can really hang with anybody.
Yeah, they are malleable. They have the versatility, and they have the offensive juice and the defensive juice to really do it. Yeah. I still don't think they are fully maximizing what they can do. I don't even think they're close. But the signs are there, right? And they're starting to put it together each game more and more and more. Like this is a squad where once Bobby Portis got suspended, we're like just tread water. 4-1. Yeah.
Some big games coming up, too. I mean, big opportunity. Giannis, though, in that post-game interview after the Nuggets win, given the sense of urgency, saying it's go time. It's time to go right now. It feels like the team is responding to that because they haven't laid an egg in quite a while, which is nice. Like, the Rockets loss stunk, and it was a painful one in real time, but it's not like they were just terrible. That Rockets team was a close game against a good team. Yeah, and it came down to the final possession. It came down to like 4 different final possessions, frankly. I'll never forget Şengün throwing a no-look behind over-the-shoulder pass when he's running out the clock. Like an objectively insane thing to do. But whatever, they got the win anyway, so Ime didn't make him walk home or whatever Ime does. We got to talk about Dame.
Ime does a lot. That shouldn't be done.
Yeah. Dame only takes 9 shots in this game. Doc says after, and we got to talk about what Doc said before the game, before the pod is over, because Doc is just wilding right now. But Doc said, they keyed in on Dame. He gave himself up. I thought it was the right thing to do, whatever. We've talked a lot. I don't think that's really always the right thing to do. I think they need to find Dame more shots consistently. I kind of think the Bucks overestimate their non-Dame and Giannis players offensively sometimes. I mean, all 5 starters and Trent scored in double figures, so they did have balanced scoring. They did get up to 121, which is obviously a good points total. I still think they go away from Dame too much sometimes, but he did rebound from what felt like a horrible game with some key threes and free throws in the second half to like a solid game, and even understanding that the game plan for him. Do you agree? Do you want more from Dame in these games?
Yes. I think unequivocally, right? Like, you need more Dame.
Whoa, PJ Tucker's been waived.
Oh, God, I don't
Siren noises.
You scared me for no reason, Ty. I don't care.
This is a big deal.
No, it's not.
It could be.
No, it can't be.
We invoked his name, and now he's like here.
That's true. We did mention him, and now
Horst is listening live as we record.
Horst is in our walls.
Oh, yeah.
Horses at the coffee shop down the street.
Yeah, you must be. Your voice is really booming.
What was I saying? Dame. Like you scared me. Like you were like, whoa. I'm like, oh, what happened? I'm like,
wee-woo.
Oh man. But Dame.
Oh, actually, real quick. Sorry. I want to hear your Dame take. You saw this Suns thing today, where Bud told D Book to shut up and dribble. I literally said today, they need to get PJ Tucker. There's no other way to save this relationship. Here we go. I legitimately think it would help. I legitimately think it would help.
I think it would.
PJ just shows up and immediately tells KD and Book, like, just let me tell Bud to shut up. Trust me. This formula works.
It does. You want to win a title? Let me go to war with my head coach.
Let me say, hey, have you guys ever thought about switching? They need Drew too.
They just need elite defenders.
Bud really will tell anyone anything.
He really
he told Chris,
except anything to the public.
Yeah, no, only behind closed. Bud's livid right now. But Bud told Chris, don't shoot middies. Bud told Book, shut the hell up. Like, what do you think he's telling Kevin? Hey, don't tweet.
Katie, why are you telling people you nixed a trade to the Warriors? Why are you going on Draymond's pod telling people this?
It's crazy. He's probably telling Katie, enough with the mid-range. And Katie's just like, come on, man.
Are you kidding me? At what point is this Book and Katie's fault, though? Because this is like the third head coach in a row.
I mean, yeah, we asked the same question with the Bucks, right? The only fix is to hire Doc.
I guess.
Because Doc, here's the thing about Doc that almost is true for no other head coach. He says the same things to the players and to the media. And it's throwing under the bus. It's giving throwing under the bus. I'm going to be a influencer now. It's giving throwing under the bus, but it's also giving accountability.
It's giving throwing under the bus.
Yeah, so you don't have to make real sentences. You just say it's giving, and then like it's honestly a hack.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's giving you talking about Dame.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, one last thing of this Booker.
Yeah, it's very funny. It's very funny. If you missed the report, Haynes Brief, sponsored by Dame's Insoles Company, which in itself is very, very funny. Clearly a huge conflict of interest. Like,
no.
it is.
I mean, it's probably Nate Jones's name on the ownership.
I mean, it is also Dame's company. I'm pretty positive. It doesn't matter. It's an unserious thing. It's just very funny that like the news about the league that shifts things happening is coming from a company owned by a player.
It's so funny because it's like imagine Chris Haynes just texting Dame being like, hey, I'm about to break some news about Devin Booker. Do you want to sponsor this?
Yeah, like is it just all reports? Like imagine the situation like Damian Lillard traded sponsored by Move Insoles. Like that's weird. That's a weird. Dame's gonna start moving like Bezos. Like email Chris Haynes. Like we're not gonna cover this anymore.
No, it's wild because it's like imagine Dame seeing this tweet. He's like, I'm sponsoring this news.
Did Dame sponsor Bobby Portis' suspension?
That would be so.
That's wild. It's a wild thing to occur.
It's so funny, but like
anyway. But what were you gonna say? Yeah,
Bud just telling Booker like, "Hey, stop,
pipe down, pipsqueak,"
is so funny because it's like there's two. So the situation is apparently Bud feels like his voice is getting drowned out. The coaching staff's voice is getting drowned out by Booker being a vocal leader. So he's like, the other players need to respect our voice. It's not, hey, I can be louder. It's not, hey, I can make my presence known more. It's, we got to talk. We did Book. It's your fault.
You got to shut up.
You got to shut up. And it's like, there's no other way you could do this. I mean, this is one side of the story, clearly.
Yeah, of course.
From Booker's camp, clearly.
Yeah, obviously it is, but I don't think there's a world where this ends up good. Just the fact that they're reporting this out like this, like I actually think Bud's going to get fired before next season. I don't think they're going to. I think they're going to move on from him. It's not all his fault. I say this 48% seriously. Bud is a Darvin Ham merchant. without that bridge to the players, like we saw the same thing happen in Milwaukee, frankly.
And Atlanta in some cases.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like, unserious team for most of the time. It's, I would hope your voice resonates with Paul Millsap. Do you know what I mean? Like it's kind of a different tier. But like with these star players, and also like Giannis is just one of the easier guys in terms of this. Him and Jokic.
He'll go to bat for whatever coach.
Yeah, I mean, he was like Jason Kidd made me hate Jabari and Chris, but I still loved him. All this other crap.
Yeah, whoever's the coach of his team, he's like, you know what? I love you.
This guy rips.
This guy is my entire
except
life.
Adrian Griffin, who couldn't even. Jeez, maybe the Suns could get him.
Can you imagine?
They're going to look at that, what was he, like 33-10 record or whatever, and be like, hey, that looks pretty good to us.
That's some regular season wins right there.
If he could win at that win percentage for the rest of this season, we could get into the play-in. Something to think about. Anyway.
A team that has lost 10 of its last 12 games, by the way. The Phoenix Suns. Crazy. It's just bad.
I saw this. Makes a lot of sense. This idea, like, Dallas trading Lively and PJ and stuff for KD. So the Suns can just go back to being the pre-KD Suns, and the Mavs can have Kyrie, AD, and KD.
But like you're not the pre-KD Suns at that point because you don't have like a master game manipulator in Chris Paul.
You got Bradley Beal.
You also have Tyus Jones. I mean, like you've got Oso Ighodaro.
Oso looks nice. Anyway, I think that's enough of the Suns update, but things are pretty rough over there.
Yeah. If you're wondering how bad it can get, that's how bad it can get.
I no longer am pining for the Bucks to have Bud and Dame because this same thing probably would have happened, and I know Dame would have been like laying on his belly, feet kicked up, texting Chris Haynes about it.
Oh my God, yeah.
And sending the new Move Insoles graphic to put on the video.
You'd be like, can I do this full time? I'm gonna start my media company, Chris Haynes. You're back under employment.
Yeah, dude, Chris Haynes.
How is he still unemployed?
Well, he's his own boss now. He's got sponsorships.
Yeah, from his friends.
Hey,
it works.
Money is money.
That's fair. He's still doing it for the love of the game, though.
It's so sick.
It's really funny, and I love how he just gets these before anyone else.
Yeah, he's honestly, if you, outside of maybe like the trade deadline itself, even though if you count that, I feel like he's kind of crushing Shams on a lot of stuff lately.
He crushed him at the trade deadline too.
Yeah. Haynes briefs, man.
Haynes briefs.
If you're not seeing Haynes briefs, you don't know what's going on in the league.
Truly. Speaking of Chris Haynes, Damian Lillard.
Yes.
So before we got sidetracked, you asked like, oh, do you want to see more Dame in these games? And I'm like, yes, absolutely. Yeah. You need to, right? Like there's no ponying around it, if that's even an expression. You can't really expect this team to go anywhere without Dame just playing it at an all-star level. I'm not even asking for all NBA level. I'm asking for all-star level.
I'll ask for all NBA level. The worst they can say is no. So I'll ask for it.
That's true. You know what? You can't expect all NBA level.
Yeah.
How about that?
That's for MVP level.
Yeah. I'll ask for GOAT level.
We get it once in a while.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's
first half against Indiana, playoffs.
He's capable of doing that sort of stuff. But I need more consistency. 9 shots is just not good. Like he saved himself from a downstock with that dagger 3.
Yeah, which was sick as hell.
It was very sick. But like you're putting up pedestrian numbers, man. Like I'm not going to sit here and pretend that this is not an effect of like the perimeter players of the opposing team just immediately doubling him.
Yeah.
Well, like you've been having this done to you for like 15 years now, man.
Yeah, some of it I think is coaching. Right, like Dame has said this too. Like they want, if he's going to get doubled, play 4-on-3 and win that way. I think that idea is good. I just think we've covered this all year. Like the Bucks play into that too much. Teams do that for a reason to get the ball out of Dame's hands. It's worth it to them, even with giving up the 4-on-3. And there's a reason for that. Dame is terrifying, and the Bucks need to I think like start setting more back screens to get him moving like toward the rim or away from half court. Like they need to work a little harder. It's not all on him. You know, he also just like wasn't good scoring from the field at all in the first half. It wasn't like he just turned down every shot. But I still think they haven't found the exact right balance yet. And I'm hoping as this new iteration of the team gets more burned together, they can get closer. We need Vin to pick up the phone again.
Vin, remind him this is not a rental.
Tell everyone this time, Vin. Tell the whole team, maybe.
Maybe not everyone.
What do you mean?
Like, I don't need some guys taking more shots.
No, that it's Dame.
Oh.
Don't tell everyone that it's their team. Tell everyone it's Dame's and Giannis' team.
I thought you said, tell Jericho.
Jericho.
This is your team.
Jericho has he tween next game.
I'm here for it, man. I'm not, actually.
No,
that dude cannot score at the basket.
No.
Unless it's like a dunk or a wide open layup.
It's dunks. Poor guy got that hook shot wiped off. That push shot wiped off like 3 games ago. Would have been his third bucket and his only non-dunk so far.
Yeah.
I'm fine if it's all dunks, though.
That's okay with me, man.
Honestly, even the all-bench lineups, they kind of have a lot of guys who can go get a bucket. So I don't think they really need anything more than that from Sims.
No.
Especially once Big Bob is back.
Yeah, they need him to go out there, play some defense.
Yeah.
Which he was doing, but he's really struggled offensively.
Yeah.
1 of 4 against the Nuggets. So that's most shot attempts in a game as a Buck, I'm pretty sure.
I think that matches the combined total from all the other games. And I'm not joking.
I think it might. I think at least 2 of those were on offensive rebounds. Like it was one, and then he got it back. He couldn't make a layup at the basket. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, it was rough.
We know you're not perfect, but like, come on.
He just doesn't have touch. Which again, he nailed that push shot, but didn't count.
Yeah, he had a few. I think he's just also like he recognizes that he's not good at scoring, which I think is 100%. Good, which is very good. It can be good and it can be bad. It's not like the Ajax way where he's scared to really do it. Actually, it might be a little bit.
No, I think it's different. I think there was one where I was like, you probably could have dunked that, and he passed
it out, and it led to like some a Nugget deflecting it out of bounds. He tried to hit, I think it was Gary or AJ in the corner, which is a good thing. But you also had a lot of space in front of you, and you're right in front of the basket.
I think it doesn't feel as bad because it's so ingrained with Sims to like, okay, I have the ball. And I can't dunk it is basically his calculus. So if he's like not sure he could dunk it, he's like, I'm going to pass it out and immediately go screen for the guy. And that's just more productive than like passing it out and going to the corner. Do you know what I mean? So I think that's why it feels better. It's a better flow chart. Because
is Sims an Ajax variant?
Yeah, he's big Ajax. It's exactly what we said. Ajax, if Ajax was like 6'10", he'd be the perfect backup big. That's Sims. Not as good of a passer.
No, not even a little bit,
and not as athletic, but yeah, he's got a lot of. He's like the big Ajax. Yeah, I think Ajax is just. I think Sims is like 90th percentile. Ajax is 99th.
Yeah, Ajax is just a freak athlete, right?
Yeah.
Both dunk contest participants.
Sims was it bad? Yeah. It's hard for bigs.
Just ask Giannis. I don't know why Giannis says he wants to do it again. Like, did you watch the last time?
He was hacked.
That's not true at all. He said it on TV.
Oh.
Like I'm pretty sure he literally said it on TV.
Well, this time he tweeted it, then he said, "Oh, my kids hacked me."
No, I saw that. I am very well aware of what you said, but I'm pretty sure he was interviewed at All-Star Weekend and he was asked about
his kids hacked his answer.
Yeah, his kids hacked his answer.
Ratatouille.
They're just under his hair.
He had a hat on. Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. But Giannis, like, you were way more athletic back then, and you suck. What do you think's going to happen now?
Now maybe he understands the artistry more.
I'm telling you, the dunk coach should be back on it.
Here's the real story. If he did it, they would just be like the 4 Antetokounmpos dunking every time. Like, he would do it just to bring out all the bros. Yeah. Which would be sick.
That would be sick. Oh, we should get Thanasis in the dunk contest.
The first player to get a technical foul in the dunk contest.
The first player to bring out a guy to hit on his way to the basket.
Oh,
He's just gonna pull some random Sixers player and just like, hey, come on, you're gonna punch you on my way up.
Someone who is Amen Thompson.
He's gonna bring Amen Thompson.
I'm bringing Amen Thompson as a prop, and then he jump kicks him. I'm not endorsing that.
That'd be really funny.
Revenge. It's like revenge is a dish best served cold, man.
Revenge is a dish best served on a national stage.
Also true. Speaking of excellency, we're brought to you by Prize Picks. Anyone who got that is a real ball knower, so to speak. Prize Picks, America's #1 daily fantasy sports app with more than 10 million members, where all you do is pick more or less on at least 2 and up to 6 player stat projections for your chance to win up to 10, 100, 1,000 times your money over on Prize Picks. We got demons, we got goblins. Those are harder and easier projections to hit that have subsequent effects on your potential winnings. Prize Picks is safe and easy to use. You get your deposits right away. It's available in, I think we might be up to 40, but certainly more than 30 states, including Wisconsin. I'm DMing the Prize Picks team all the time, making sure, our availability and such. Maybe that's true. I'm not going to clarify if that's true or not. But Prize Picks couldn't be simpler. And this week, I'm going to tell you what. I really have been liking Kyle Kuzma's points, rebounds, assists combined because he's just active all over the place. The Bucks rely on him a lot. He's become their most used player in terms of total minutes, which is something to note for these projections. So I'm looking at Kuz. And I think Dame is due for a big scoring game. A couple of down games. Dame usually does not like to stay down for long, so I could see him putting up a big number on the Mavericks on Saturday. So if you have an inkling of where to go with the Prize Picks projections, of course Giannis as well, it's just, those are real big numbers. It's a real big number with Giannis because he's obviously so productive, but he can still exceed it. That's how, they're good at setting ones that could go either way. Download the Prize Picks app today, and if you've never used Prize Picks before, I'll let you in on a big secret. They don't even like me saying this that much. It's such a good deal. Use code Eurostep, which the links in our pod description will automatically get you there. But if it doesn't pop up, type in Eurostep, all one word. You play $5. You could win, which is great. You could lose, which is still great because you get $50. It's a pretty good deal. Secret deal. Don't tell anyone. Actually, I'll let you tell 5 friends each if you want. You can tell 5 friends. Download the Prize Picks app. Use promo code Eurostep. Prize Picks. Run your game. I'm trying a different tact, Rohan.
Yeah, it's great. I love it.
People love exclusivity. You know what I mean? No,
I do. It's that hype beast mentality.
We're letting you guys in on something here.
Oh yeah, and it's true. It's a great deal. It's a great deal.
It's a great deal. I mean, you lose and you win $50. That's Mike Budenholzer vibes right now. Oh, I'm fired. I got $50 million to work for 10 months. Damn.
That's the dream, right?
Yeah, being a coach is the best job. I mean, it's stressful in the moment, but oh no, I'm fired. I'm going to go fly out to 4 training camps and think about and dry my tears with my fat stacks. It's not bad work if you can get it. I got to talk about the litmus test.
Is that what we're calling him now?
Yeah, that's what we're calling him now. It's still true. He's not shooting the ball well right now. Yes, it is.
Okay. You go.
Did you think Brook played poorly?
At points, yeah.
Like when?
When he was just struggling on defense.
Yeah, I get to guard Nikola Jokic.
Yeah.
Sure.
He's doing the same thing against Şengün.
Yeah, he had a worse game against the Rockets, but his offensive production has been very important for the Bucks in this stretch. When they don't have many consistent scorers. He was second on the team in scoring in this game. He was able to, not as much as Joker, but he was able to give as well as get in that game. And it's the same with Şengün. He's getting beat more often. I feel like his defense has trailed off as he's aged. Lately, his offense, even with the threes being ice cold, was he 1 for 5 against Houston, 1 for 6 against Denver? Still had 22 points. It's not good, but his scoring at the rim has been good. I think he's had 3 assists in back-to-back games. I think he's actually playing pretty well, and at least he's playing okay. He didn't get any stock movement for that game.
No, I don't think he's bad. I don't think he's playing poorly. I just don't think he's not rising to the occasion.
22 points is pretty good.
I mean, it also took 16 shots. I mean, it's good. I'm not trying to say it's not good, but Like, if you're taking 7 more shots than Dame, like something's going on.
1 more than Kuzma and 6 more points. So
yeah, no, like again, I'm not complaining about the efficiency. It's just like,
yeah,
it's just interesting. I want to know what goes on in his brain. I want to study it.
Probably a lot of just like Disney.
Yeah, is he like in his head? Is he like, am I the princess? Like, am I the belle of the ball right now?
Yeah,
and it's like
he lets go of that deep 3 against Houston. He's not saying Kobe. He's not thinking, is this a good shot? He's thinking like,
this is my Cinderella moment.
Mickey. He shoots. He doesn't say Kobe. He says Mickey. That's not a care in the world. We should all aspire to live with it, like him.
Oh, I 100% agree.
He's a professional basketball player as a day job. Just a guy who loves Disney and just kind of like shows up, does the job, leaves. Doesn't have any social. He's like an IG post on like once a year. Just living life.
It's a good life, I will say.
It's a good life. It's a good life. But we've been right all year. He's a situational player now.
Yeah, he's not a mainstay, and he shouldn't be looked at as such.
Yeah.
Which I think is part of why the Bucks like do not like I mentioned earlier that this team should have taken advantage of the Nuggets way more.
Yeah.
And it's because they don't have a real base to rely upon anymore. And I think that's partly because Brook Lopez has fallen off a bit. Like Brook was part of like the mainstay identity of this team. During the Bud years, like, okay, we're going to have a rim protector we funnel guys to. We're going to have a spacing threat from 3. We're going to have a guy who can, just be an elite defender, be an elite rim protector, but also provide like decent-ish spacing. And you would just rely on that. Anytime something comes up, it's like, okay, we can just ground and pound this team into the dirt. They don't really have that base identity anymore. And I think part of that is because of Brook Lopez.
Yeah, I think part of it is. I think the team around him has also shifted so much.
Oh, I'm not saying it's all on Brook Lopez. Yeah. Not even a little bit.
But yeah, I think that's fair. This was also an odd game because usually, and this is why I say he's still a litmus test, is because like
you got Biz
all the time.
You got a rest of the season deal.
For where?
San Antonio.
Oh, Spurs. Oh, I thought you meant Bucks. I was like, what? You said you got Biz.
I said your guy. I said your guy Biz.
Oh, I thought you said you got Biz, like you got mail. This was also a weird game because they used him as a primary, where normally I was gonna say he's a litmus test because Brook will get blamed for like giving up an offensive rebound, where he's had to leave his man to go contest a shot, and even if he forces a miss, now he's out of position and a player can crash because Giannis and Dame lately have been allergic to boxing out if they're not right next to the rim. And it's just impossible for a center to come play help defense, force the miss, and secure the rebound if it doesn't bounce the perfect way. You just need another player. It's 2 players against 1 player. And the Bucks are bad at that. I mean, all the time. They're just like, just take care of it, Brook. Tap the ball out to one of us, and we'll go run and do the fun stuff. But he was not in that role against Denver. He was the primary defender. And yeah, Jokic worked him for sure. I mean, he had 32 on 16 shots. But Denver lost the Jokic minutes, which they usually don't do. And that certainly is not all on Brook, but Brook definitely helped being the front defender who made Jokic work. And I just think, like, we probably saw it for only a few. Sims, I don't think, just didn't have it. Just not strong enough. Like, they needed Brook to do that. And again, he did not shut down Jokic by any means, but I think he did enough. And I think that's the kind of player he is now. Like, I don't think he's going to have, like, a series where he averages 5 blocks a game. I think he can like hopefully just give you enough.
Yeah, and that's all you can hope for, really. Just like getting enough. Don't be a net negative out there.
Yeah,
yeah. I think it just speaks volumes that you have this game where Brook puts up 22 points and it's like no stock movement.
Yeah. Well, again though, it's bad timing for this cold shooting stretch because had he knocked down like half of those threes or even just whatever is 35%, then he's probably close to 30 points, and then maybe we look at that a little differently.
Oh, 100%.
But, I mean, that's not what happened, so that's obviously not how the stat reflected it, or the stocks reflected it. But I say it's still a litmus test, not even just because of the way Brook plays himself anymore. I just think people don't understand what centers do.
I think that's fair.
Like, he helps over on a shot, and it's just like, oh, that's his man, and he got beat. Like, No, someone else got beat for him to be in that spot. And now it becomes a 2-on-1 if TP or whoever doesn't crash down to box out the other guy. I don't think the Bucks have done a very good job doing that stuff around him in some recent games.
No, they're just like taking it as a guarantee that Brook will clean up their mistakes, which I don't think it is.
No, it's definitely not.
Which is not Brook's fault.
No, it's just
I mean, some of it's Brook's fault.
Some of it's Brook's fault, yeah, but not all of it.
Like, you see sometimes, like, even Giannis or Kuzma will, like, let a guy go into Brook, and then Brook's just not there, and they're like, what happened? It's like, maybe don't let your guy just go.
Just completely go. Yeah, like, there's just a line. There's that possession where he and TP just, like, both kept backing away from a player, and the guy just hit a layup. Like, you both messed up.
Yeah, you both went wrong here.
Yeah.
Maybe go.
Yeah, just a little bit more. Like, there is an element of, like, you know, they funnel shots into him on purpose, but there's a difference between that and, like, oh, a screen, I'm done guarding this guy at the 3-point line. Like, Brook's in a pretty unwinnable position at that point.
Brook, go guard 2-on-1 in space.
Yeah, that's really hard to do. Giannis can maybe do it. Brook definitely at this point cannot do it. So that is what it is. We got to talk about the starting lineup generally because Doc just one of his hilarious.
It's still the same. It's crazy, right?
Well, his quote on it before the Nuggets game was one of the craziest things I've ever heard. He's like, yeah, it's Taurean for now. We think he can guard these guys, but he's got an ankle injury. So right now we're not seeing the real Taurean. But we're gonna play him and start him. It's going to be Kuzma, but we're not going to show you that yet.
It's even in that quote, he's like, we want to see if he can guard guards, but he's injured. Like, what are you doing?
like, I don't understand this decision-making flowchart at all.
We want to see if he can guard guards. However, he's not in a position where we can see that right now. But we're not going to change anything. We're
going to torture Taurean Prince.
Taurean, welcome to the torture chamber.
Tortured Ian. Here's the quote. Here's the exact quote from Doc. I've liked our size. Fair. They are big. They're really big. Back to Doc. I've liked our defense for sure. I think it's gone very well. TP has unfortunately been struggling with an ankle, so we're not seeing the real TP right now. What we have to find out is if we can guard the guards. We'll find that out. Right now, we don't know yet. We haven't had the right health to evaluate. We think, and right now we're putting TP on the guy, we probably should put Kuz on the guy more. That will probably be later. We don't want to do it right now. What?
So just good, like, man.
I don't understand it all.
like, what do you even say? Like, we know that this guy's injured. I'm telling you that this guy's injured.
He barely can move.
He's on one leg out there, according to Doc.
Yeah.
But we're still in disadvantageous matchups because even though we're eventually not going to do it, we want to see even though he's injured, see what he can do.
Yeah. That said, and it's very funny, but all of that said, thought he actually did a pretty good job on Jamal Murray. Like, was kind of impressed with the way that TP defended Murray in that game.
Yeah. I guess.
Overall, I thought it was a pretty good... I saw the vision more. I mean, Murray had 20 points on 20 shots, 5 assists, 2 turnovers, just like whatever. They lost his minutes by 13 points, which, you know, single game plus minus. And Prince did have 2 steals. He got active. He had a good game offensively as well. An assist, 4 boards, 10 points, good shooting percentages. He's not a terrible player. I don't think he navigates screens well enough. I would prefer AJ Green or Trent, who I just think is one of the 5 best players on the team and probably deserves to be there.
I think that's unequivocal at this point, right?
Yeah, I think they're like... It's fully, to me, like a we know you are, but you've been so good in this role, we don't want to touch it, which I kind of understand.
Yeah, it's like if it ain't broke, why fix it?
The problem is the starting lineup is broke, or has been. So that's the issue. But they were better against Denver.
Yeah, it's just you can't rely on just being too big because at some point being too big is a problem, especially because
Yeah,
you're never going to be big enough with Dame out there
right.
to accomplish what you want to do. You're never going to be equipped to do it because Dame's just a little guy.
He's just a little fella. They were plus 17 in 20 minutes of the starters against Denver. So it worked in that game.
Yeah.
They had been starting slow. They had a lead early. They lost it, I think, when Kuz was the first guy to go out. That's been their rotation. But they ended up playing very well in that lineup.
They did.
And they worked offensively, but Denver defense sucks because they have jokers. So
yeah, they just have traffic cones just sitting out there.
Yeah.
I still think maybe it's got to be Gary or AJ. I still think. I'll tell you what, the AJ Green lineups look really fun.
Also, they look good, and you look at like every combination of players with AJ, and the lineups just rip. I think I saw, I think Frank Madden shared today, I'll pull it up now, but
they're like plus 20.3 or something.
The Brook, AJ, Giannis, and Dame lineups go crazy. Dame, AJ Green, Brook, and Giannis. The net is plus 15.8 in a 167-minute sample.
Sheesh.
And then, Brook, AJ, Bobby, Dame, which you wouldn't expect to be good, is plus 15 net.
AJ Green's he's a game changer.
Yeah. Dame, Giannis, Prince, Green in 118 minutes is plus 16.8 net. They just rip with AJ in the lineup pretty much no matter what. With the good players.
And it's
when they have him as a top 2 offensive option, it's a problem.
And it's also I kind of don't get it. I get the idea of him just being an elite spacing threat, but also I'm a little unimpressed with him lately.
I think it's just the life of a shooter. I saw people saying the same
shooting.
Thing.
It's the way he gets his shots are he has to make the most he has to do a standing broad jump laterally every time he wants to get a shot off if a defender's even a little bit close to him.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think the reason why, because he is not gravity. I think what I'm realizing with AJ Green is he is not his own gravity. He benefits off the gravity of others.
Oh yeah.
I should stop thinking about him as having his own, which I don't think he does. I think it's more like him utilizing the space that others create.
Yeah, I mean he pays it off, which I think is actually just more important. And he doesn't need to be super open.
No, which I think that might lend itself more to the case for him, Gary.
Yeah.
Which I know I've been on the side of Gary, but also I think both are good options. So I think I'm more leaning AJ because I think it works better with him playing with other stars. He's a star playing with stars.
He is 16th in the NBA in 3-point percentage among players to take at least 100 threes this season. So even though I've seen this idea, I think he's cooled off, he's still been elite. The fun thing for the Bucks is they have 2 other players above him. Trent is 2 spots above him, and then Taurean Prince is second in the league. Only Luke Kennard has shot a better percent from 3. So the Bucks' shooting threats have been pretty crazy this season in terms of their efficiency.
Yeah, the Bucks are one of the top 5 3-point shooting teams in the league this season.
Yeah,
I think they're second.
They are second. They are 1 percentage point behind the Cavs, who have just been on an insane heater.
The Cavs are so good, man.
They are.
Letting them get Hunter is not fair.
Yeah.
Imagine if the Bucks had DeAndre Hunter.
The Bucks have Pete Nance, so who cares?
That's true. They do have Pete Nance. So we got news that the Bucks made a 2-way deal, or a transaction involving one of their 2-way players, which you would think is Ryan Rollins, something around him, we'll get to him in a little bit. But Liam Robbins, our shining prince from Summer League and training camp, is gone.
Yeah.
He got the cup money. He got his house.
Yep, he got his house in Iowa if he wants it.
But he has been waived. He was not good in any sense of the word.
No.
Did not look like an NBA player at all. And I think the Bucks realized that, and they made a move, and they got Pete Nance, son of legendary Cavalier Larry Nance.
Okay.
What are you talking about?
I thought you were going to say son of Larry Nance Jr.
No, son of Larry Nance.
For a second, I feel like the LeBron Bronny thing like twisted me up. I was like, oh, Larry Nance's kid. And I was like, wait a minute, there's no way.
He is Larry Nance's kid.
Well, yeah, he's original OG Larry Nance's kid.
Yeah, I'm saying Cavs legend.
No, I know. Nance. Well, Larry Nance Jr. won a title with the Cavs too. So,
no, he just went to the finals.
Yeah, he was after, right?
Yeah, he was after the title. He was in that. Yeah. He was in that team that switched their entire roster midseason.
Yeah.
Brother of Larry Nance Jr. My white whale, who I think the time has passed on. But Pete Nance has been signed to a 2-way contract. He's appeared in, I believe, 7 NBA games this season for Cleveland.
Yep. The best one coming against the Bucks, which is always a little scary when that's the case.
Yeah.
Put up 8 and 6 on Milwaukee in that Philly game recently.
So, wait, was it with Philly?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was with Cleveland for some reason.
No, because he played this season for the Charge twice. He also played for Delaware 4 times.
That's what it is. Okay.
But no, Philly called him up. He, in the G League, though, this season is averaging 14, 7, 2.5 assists, and a steal per game, and shooting 41% from 3 on high volume. Last year was about 36.5% from 3. He's got a 2.2 to 1 assist to turnover ratio in the G League in the regular season. So he's been a good G League player. He's been better than Robbins for sure. He's just like big, 6'10", 6'11", pretty athletic, can shoot. Like clearly not as good as Larry Nance Jr.
25, so like relatively young.
Young, but like not raw either. Yeah. I do feel like this is someone
to my youth.
Yeah, there you go. This is someone who could battle like Smith / CL for if we needed emergency big, in this Portis suspension, he could play. I feel like maybe it makes it a little less likely to use the hardship on a big.
I think it does. I think it 100% does.
Like this is a guy who is. The bar is, it's not a high bar, but like has been an NBA player this year.
Yeah. And that's a high bar for like available bigs.
Yeah.
It's just not a thing.
Yeah, there's not a lot out there.
Yeah, I think it makes you think like they're not going to be able to use it like on a big.
Or they just don't have someone they want enough.
Yeah, because it's like if you wanted like Ibubaji, you would just sign him.
Yeah. Yeah, this tells me they'd rather try Nance than. I mean, they still have a spot. They haven't signed Rollins to what you teased earlier. He's out of games now, we think.
He's done.
Because it's active games, not games played. So correct. I mean, unless the count on that is wrong. Yeah. If he's not out, he's very close out, but I think he is out. It's going to be interesting to see if they sign him or not. They keep dressing him, so. They haven't assigned him to the herd to like save him at all. So, but I brought this up on the Score in the Appleton area yesterday in my spot there. And we've talked about it too. I mean, if KPJ suddenly gets suspended, you only have Dame on the roster. If you sign someone else who's not a guard and don't convert Rollins, then he's out of days. So I kind of still think he gets converted.
I hope so, man.
He's also KPJ the guy they start.
Just suck.
Yeah, he's been bad 2 games. Well, to a game and a half in a row now.
Yeah, it's not been good.
Yeah. So turns out he's not prime Kawhi.
Yeah, who would have thought?
Yeah.
So it's like I think just having an insurance guard who's been with this team for a while, who knows how to play with the players.
Yeah.
And who you would theoretically like to keep around like longer term, like you can sign him for a super cheap deal.
Yeah, I would still do that too. I mean, I would take a look at a Jalen Hood Shafino, I guess, but I think I'd maybe rather just have Rollins at this point. See if you can get Hood Shafino on a 2-way. There would be another open spot if they sign Bones Highland's on a 2-way now in Minnesota.
He's on a 2-way?
Yeah.
Oh, I just thought he was on a standard contract. Dude, that dude sucks.
They converted someone else, because it's the executive from Denver. What's the guy's name? What's his name? Do you remember?
Oh, no.
Tim?
Connolly.
Yes. So the guy who originally drafted him and liked him, they got him back. But yeah, I think they converted a two-way and signed Bones to their open two-way spot, which kind of shows you where his stock around the league is at.
I would have thought he would be just out of the league.
That to me, this is going to sound funny. That would be the quote-unquote dream for the rest of the roster spots is convert Rollins and then sign Jalen Hood-Schifino to a two-way.
I think that's fine. I don't see an issue with that at all.
I think you're cooking with gas then.
Like
PJ can be the hardship exception if they need to bring him in.
PJ can just stay home, man.
Also that.
Do you think he's
got to go to
LA?
Phoenix? Phoenix needs him.
Did he ever report to Utah? Or not Utah, Toronto?
No.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Has he left LA?
No, of course he hasn't. We know how he feels about the cold.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, you got to go back to Phoenix, right? He's just playing all the hits again. Booker's
not going to get to talk for the rest of the year if they don't sign that guy.
Mike Budenholzer's going to sew Devin Booker's mouth shut.
One last thing that we didn't talk about in the game, and I meant to and I forgot. The way they closed out that game, Giannis midi, Dame 3, and then Giannis with a thunderous open court dunk when the game was over, but just put the exclamation on it. That's how the Bucks need to win games. That's got to be the formula. Stay close. Stay close.
Actually close a game.
But with those guys in particular.
Yeah.
Like, they are built, they have a lot of good players, but they're almost all pretty inconsistent. I'll say they're all inconsistent, everyone except Dame and Giannis. They need those two guys to, find the right the Bucks stock needs to find the right combo of players to get through the game. But if it's close late, those guys just have to be able to carry them home. And they did, and that's why they won, even though Denver made it a little frisky. So nice to see that. Hopefully they can keep that going here.
Yeah, I mean, it's really good to see them lean towards their best players when it's winning time, which is the bar is in hell, but it's nice to see. Well,
that's just for them to, Dame's 3-point percentage has been pretty bad in clutch game. I'm not even sure this qualified because of what the score was, but still, he slammed the door. It was a clutch moment, even if not defined by the NBA. So just nice to see it work out that well.
100%. And just a team that struggled with fourth quarter offense, just being able to shut the door on a good team.
Worst in the league, I think.
Yeah. So it's good to see. It's a great sign. Maybe just next step is now doing it on the road.
Yeah, and we'll see. Dallas, right? Is it Milwaukee then Dallas?
No, they play Dallas.
Schedule. Next. No, I know, but is it in? They play one on the road and one at home. In the next week against Dallas.
Oh, it's in Dallas.
Yeah, in Dallas, in Atlanta, back-to-back, home Dallas, then Orlando, and back-to-back Cavs. So tough 5 games coming up. No walkovers here, even though Orlando has kind of crumbled since earlier. And Dallas doesn't have any bigs, so Milwaukee should have a good chance there. I think you got to start a new winning streak. So I'm a sucker for Moses Brown. Start a new winning streak before this Cavs game, though, would be ideal.
Yeah,
and then beat the Cavs, and then you're really cooking.
I was about to say, just don't get embarrassed by the Cavs, but try to win. That's a good idea.
They played them close twice without Giannis.
It's fair. The second night of a back-to-back, though, is tough. It is home and home, though, so that makes it a little easier. No travel.
Yeah, that Orlando game is a big test. Just handle a dead-in-the-water Orlando team.
Yeah, can you just shut them out in a half?
Somebody replied to me because I was like, the Bucks need to start winning games convincingly and not relying on comebacks. And I got replied to the thing about blowouts is you don't build any good crunch time habits. And I was like, well, they haven't done it all year, so I think they've worked on the crunch time enough. Actually, let's try the blowout thing.
You need some practice.
Let's practice that.
Teams,
yeah. Let's work on that. So Orlando game, a big test of can we just be serious? And that's also. They have 2 days off before it, too, so they're rested going into that back-to-back. That's when the hell sequence starts. So, big test for the Bucks.
Every other day for the rest of the season is just tough.
Yeah. There's going to be a punt game here or there. I don't think that Cavs game will be one, but as the schedule heats
Adam Silver is gonna put a gun to Doc's head.
Yeah.
Because that's national now. Into national TV.
Yeah.
And if you rest that, it's over.
Well, also, ESPN.
We're flexing 2 small market teams into national TV, and you rest Giannis. Adam Silver's just going to be busted down the door.
There's going to be some sticky moments. Sunday, March 16th, home OKC is the second night of a back-to-back, and that's an ESPN game.
NBA Cup revenge
And the game before that is Indiana, which is just unquestionably more important to the Bucks this season.
Yeah, but also the Bucks did punt their other game against OKC. So.
Yeah, I mean, you'd like to see them try and win at least.
I mean, they did in the NBA Cup. They won a trophy.
I mean, one of the ones
successful
that counts for
season.
The schedule. True, you did get that out of the way early.
I know this is a successful season for me.
The Bucks have pretty few national games left. They have another Sixers game on national TV. I wouldn't be surprised if they lost, just because no one wants to see the Sixers anymore in April.
Yeah, but also the Sixers aren't going to want to win that game.
That's what I mean. I think they could flex that game is what I mean.
Oh, you mean lose that game from being on national TV. Okay.
Correct.
I thought you said they might just lose the game in general.
No. I think they could lose that game as a national game. And then they have that Thunder game on ESPN. They have a Lakers game on TNT. That'll be fun. In Milwaukee. Everyone get your tickets Thursday, March 13th to see LeBron and Luka.
Yeah, can't wait to pay $5,000 for those tickets.
Probably. Oh, they have they actually have a run. They have 3 in a row. That Cavs game is ESPN. Then they play the Pacers on TNT. Then they play the Lakers on TNT.
Game is on TNT?
That rivalry. That makes sense. And then that's it for the rest of the year, except for that Thunder game. So I could see them getting one flex down the stretch here. Like, could one of those Pistons games at the very end be to decide a seeding? Potentially.
It could be. Who would have thought that, huh?
Yeah.
Pistons look fun, man.
Yeah, Bucks got to hold on. Bucks got to hold on to the 4-5. I mean, 4 is ideal, but do not fall to 6.
No,
Detroit's right there.
You want to be able to play the Pistons in the first
round.
Play
a Central Division team
instead of the Knicks,
and not the Cavs. Don't fall that far.
Don't fall.
Not that team. Not that Central Division team. One of the other ones.
If you're in the play-in, just call it. Just wrap it up.
You want to see the Pistons or Pacers. You don't want to see the Bulls. You fell too far if you see the Bulls.
Yeah, that if you see the Bulls, you have made one too far of a wrong turn.
Yeah, you turn the wrong way at Albuquerque.
Albuquerque.
Do you not get that reference?
Oh no, I don't.
Bugs Bunny took the wrong turn at Albuquerque.
Where? When?
He just popped out.
What
of the
is
ground
this a
somewhere.
reference to?
Bugs Bunny.
Just in general, like his character. In
a cartoon, yeah. It was like his thing. He would take the wrong turn at Albuquerque.
Oh, so this was like a consistent thing.
Yeah, I think it was a bit.
Oh, okay. I thought you were just saying this is part of Bugs Bunny lore.
It is.
It's like any specific movie or something. Nope, just Bugs Bunny.
No, it was just like the cartoon series, I think.
Looney Tunes are underrated, man. Yeah,
this is like great bits, good character development, great voice acting.
Yeah. On that note.
Elmer Fudd is with the blammer going crazy. Watching old cartoons is hilarious. I have a heart out. I'm going to stop talking.
Yeah, on that note, we'll wrap this up and say thank you for listening to this episode of the Eurostep here on Blue Wire and GSPN, presented by our amazing friends over at Prize Picks. Make sure you're subscribed wherever you're listening to or watching this podcast. You can get a commercial-free feed at gspn.info and also get an exclusive GSPN After Dark episode every week, as well as some bonus written content as well. But yeah, make sure you subscribe. Pod Random. We'll talk to you next time.